Life was very devastating for Pokuaa and her children. One evening, Auntie Gladys suggested to Pokuaa that the only way to allow her freedom outside the house was to have Sam, her brother-in-law, conceive with her so they would be sure she wouldn't have any affair with another man. Pokuaa became furious and decided that enough was enough. She argued with Auntie Gladys and later went to bed. The following day, the children had gone to school, and Pokuaa was at home as usual. Auntie Gladys opted to pick the kids from school instead of Sam, as she was going to the market. It was 6 p.m., and neither Auntie Gladys nor the children had returned. Pokuaa became worried and called Sam. Sam called his mother several times. After an hour, Auntie Gladys picked up and said she had visited her friend and didn't notice the time but was returning home. Immediately after Sam had spoken with his mother, a call came from an unknown number stating that 2 children had been involved in an accident near the school. The kids were crossing the road by themselves after being left behind by everyone at school when a car knocked them down, and the driver escaped. Sam was shocked but had to break the news to Pokuaa. With pain in her heart, Pokuaa asked Sam to take her to the hospital. Auntie Gladys joined them later at the hospital. Upon their arrival, they were informed by the doctor that the kids couldn't make it and had passed on. Pokuaa became shattered and angry. She approached her mother-in-law and started accusing her of the death of her children. Other nurses came to console her, but she was crying uncontrollably, blaming her mother-in-law. Sally informed Joe about the news, and they rushed to pick Pokuaa up and take her to their home. Auntie Gladys felt remorse and begged Pokuaa for forgiveness. Pokuaa left with Joe and Sally to Joe's home. No one still heard from Eric. A few days later, Afrakoma had prepared breakfast and went to Pokuaa's room to call her. Entering the room, Afrakoma saw Pokuaa lying on the floor with a white substance coming from her mouth. Afrakoma screamed, calling for Joe. Joe rushed in and tried to revive Pokuaa. They took her to the hospital, where she was examined by Sally, who was a nurse. Unfortunately, Pokuaa had passed on. She had ingested a poisonous substance. She couldn't bear the loss of her children. After Eric heard all this, he broke down uncontrollably, blaming himself for accepting everything his mother told him. He narrated how his mother had called him about Pokuaa's decision to go and stay with her parents with the children because she didn't feel comfortable in the house. She also told him not to worry about calling Pokuaa because she, his mother, was taking care of everything with Sam and he needed time to focus on his school and work. Eric asked about the current whereabouts of Pokuaa and the children, and Sally decided to take him to the morgue. He went and saw the lifeless bodies of his wife and children. He angrily confronted his mother, who begged him for forgiveness. Eric packed his things out of the house and vowed never to return or see his mother and brother until he found it in his heart to forgive them. The day came when Pokuaa and her 2 children were laid to rest. It was a sad and solemn moment. Eric went back to the States and never returned to Ghana. The end.